So apparently I'm some sort of genius because I can do the impossible. Lately I've been seeing a hell of a lot of people claiming that it's impossible to run all reds, all glass cannon, variety of other silly things. I've even seen people be like, strikers can't do anything unless you're playing on challenging. It's hard to tell whether this is a joke because of Yannick's latest exploits playing strikers on challenging, or if people are actually being serious. But still, what you're about to watch is an hour's worth of footage, incredibly sped up, of me playing strikers, glass cannon, heroic, 3 directives on missions, and I don't use directives in the open world normally. I just can't be bothered anymore hard braining it. But yeah, I'm just going to be running around completing stuff for an hour. I did not die once. I don't even think I used an armor kit. I use other things to heal normally. And just because I know people are going to be like, oh, well, you sped it up so much, we can't tell whether you've edited it. Don't worry, I'll be uploading the full 1 hour video, unedited, at some point. Well, it's currently uploading, but it's like an hour's worth of 4K footage. It's like 35 gig. I don't know when it will be ready. Now, I fully expect people aren't going to be too interested in just watching me run around for an hour, so I'm not expecting many views on it. However, 2 things. If you're going to want to argue that glass cannon is still really, really bad, I expect you to have at least watched the full hour of that video when it goes up. And the second one, for those of you that are lovely and awesome and want to support me, I'm going to be trying to put as many ads as I can into that full hour of the video. I would appreciate, as a free way to support me, turn your ad block off. I know we all use one. And then press play on the video, go do the hoovering or something. That is the best way in which you are able to support me, and it doesn't cost you a penny, it costs Google. So yeah, just want to put that out there. Right, so why do people think that all red builds or glass cannon builds, a variety of other things, are just not good in heroic, legendary, directives, bloody blah. Why do people think this? And this is a genuine question, because the best I've got is skill issue. And I say this not as trying to be an arrogant dick, haha, I can do it, you can't. This is me trying to show that it can be done. What are you struggling with? Because if you're struggling with something, ask. Don't just come in and be, you can't do this, blah blah blah, hacks, cheat, bloody no, because your reply is going to be, well, you're a dickhead. So, without actually knowing where people are struggling, the best advice I can give is keep trying. And I say this genuinely as someone that was in your shoes. When I first started playing this game, I too was like glass cannon. All it does is get you killed quicker. What does it matter? The difference in damage isn't that great, and all you do is die quicker. Started to look into the math, met other people, got involved with the community. The difference in damage is actually huge. It's not a little bit. And you actually don't generally die that much quicker, just because most enemies have friggin' aimbot and 6 million RPM between red builds. So a red build with glass cannon and a red build without glass cannon, it's 1 bullet difference, if that. And then the next thing I'm going to assume is people we call it sweaty play, but to be honest, once you start to get into it and know what you're doing, it's not. It's just your default level of play. A lot of people are oh, look at how you're playing, it's sweating. It's just no, this is just me chilling and relaxing and how I normally play. I utilize cover. I'm always looking around at my surroundings. It's one of the reasons why I always sometimes have my camera at an odd angle, because I'm expecting a spawn door that I'm running past just to randomly open up, and I don't notice it in time, and then I die because I'm getting shot in the back. The next thing I'm going to suggest is actually something that I've suggested to people before. I've actually been passing this bit of knowledge around for God knows how long, and this was genuinely done to me. Make this build. Make it. Perfect glass cannon, Perfect Vigilance, gift, sacrifice. Don't have to get the gift if you don't have it, because, you know, DZ exclusive. But make sure you have the sacrifice. Contractors, Foxes, 3-piece Providence, Coyotes, and then get an 1886. It's probably not going to be as effective now because the 1886 does silly damage now. But the idea behind this build is you basically have to make every damn shot count. Your positioning has to be on point or you will die. You will. Now for the first week, much like I did when someone suggested this to me, you will hate it. You will get nothing done. You will suck. And then you'll keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And that is the key. You need to just keep pushing, keep trying. You can't give up. And then one day it just clicks and your positioning is better, your accuracy is better, you're clearing content quicker, and you're actually enjoying the game. Things like heroic then kind of become trivial, so you start playing around with it and adding in directives and genuinely enjoying the game, because what you used to find slightly annoying or very annoying in terms of like difficulty or just absolute BS within the game, it's now completely trivialized because you know what you're doing. You don't learn by just bludgeoning your head against it on repeat and completing it through brute force. You learn through failure. You learn through experience. Okay, I'm not going to stand here because when the next rotation happens, the door to my right opens up and I can't move around in time. So I need to find another position. I died there, so I'm going to try again, but somewhere else. Constantly move. You need to learn. And you don't learn by just brute forcing things. You need to fail a few times. You learn through failure. Experience is the culmination of failures. You try, you fail, you try, you fail, but the only true failure is when you stop trying. And eventually, when you get used to it and you're performing better, I'm not saying at this point you have to become some sort of glass cannon convert like I was, but at the very least, you should understand that glass cannon is more than viable, regardless of difficulty, regardless of directives. Same as all red builds are, well, they're actually the most viable option of play. But, you know, what do I know? And after a bit of practice, and you've failed a few times, because again, that's the key, you'll become successful at it. And the weird thing about success, right? Success is like being pregnant. Everyone congratulates you, but nobody asks you how many times you got fucked. With glass cannon, it does take a fair few times. So yeah, unless I know specifically what your problem is with like glass cannon, which no one seems to want to tell me, they just want to be like, oh yeah, glass cannon and full red builds are just terrible in open world and bloody. It's just like, no, then they're not. And until you're able to define what the issue is, I'm just going to be out here drinking your salty, salty tears. The limit of what I'm able to give you at the moment is, 1, try harder. Because you're clearly not trying hard enough. There are copious, and I do mean copious amounts of players that utilize full red glass cannon builds for 99% of their play. I'm one of them. I do it. And despite the fact that the joke is that I'm a Revive Hive main, this mostly actually comes from group play because of where I play solo 90% of the time. When I am actually thrust into a group, I'm not too used to the difference in scaling, and I do a boo-boo. I'd like to blame the game, but to be perfectly honest, it's me being out of cover for too long, thinking that I can win a 1v1 with an add-on 4-man scaling, and the truth is I can't. But I keep trying it for some stupid reason. This is me. This is me being an idiot. This isn't glass cannon. This isn't the fault of a red build. This is me at fault. And I feel like this is something that a lot of people, when playing glass cannon, need to figure out for themselves. But instead, you flood to YouTube to anyone that's done like a full red glass cannon build, and you basically say that full red or glass cannon is trash, which is completely and utterly not even remotely accurate or true. But hey, you know, yeah, that was just point one. Point two is put yourself in shit situations. Like, you need to learn. You can't just put the game on easy mode and then think you're a good player. You need to actually test yourself, challenge, which is where that build will come in, what I mentioned earlier, because it will make things incredibly difficult until, one, you understand positioning, two, you understand how to friggin' aim. And console players, I know a lot of console players that have better accuracy than PC players, so don't give me the whole, oh, it's hard to do this on console things, because it fucking isn't. They just try more than you. And once they're a little bit more competent and comfortable with it, that's when they shine. Just for like perspective, the difference between like console and PC at the top end is like 1 second. Like there's like 1 second difference in a lot of the speed runs between console and PC. I believe Xbox actually has the world record for dark hours over PC. So at the top end, there's like no difference whatsoever. Everyone's performing the same. That being said, there is a difference in the way in which you would go about it. The overall performance of them is the same, but the way in which you do it would be different. I do know a lot of console players that have moved to PC and they do say it just feels different, so they've had to adapt, but their way in which they play mostly hasn't changed. But anyway, that is it, essentially. Oh, one final point. Stop using determined. There's a reason some of you can't aim, and it's because you're using aimbot. Stop using determined. As you can see, I'm still running the exact same build that I started off with. The footage is slowed down now so you can see it. That's an hour's worth of footage in like 12 minutes. Didn't die. All with glass cannon, full red the entire time. Have fun, good luck, don't die. It's bad for the health.